What's up, guys? Wiley Lewis here with the Fastbreak Kids with a quick extra point coming to you from my phone. I want to talk about something that's kind of been going around lately, and it's been affecting the NFL and the NBA, and a lot of people aren't really talking about it. You know, the saying goes, patience is a virtue. And if you look around the league, that is not the sentiment that goes around for most general managers and owners. A lot of coaches we're seeing are getting fired or they're parting ways for reasons I don't understand. Let's take Frank Vogel, for instance. He seems to be the latest one, the latest victim. Indiana Pacers just drop him. Just part ways. Say, you know what? We don't think they're going the right direction. How can you not think that they're going in the right direction? We're talking about Frank Vogel. Quality coach. Probably one of the top coaches in the league right now. Taking not great talent. You take away Paul George, who is a top 10 player. Take him away, it's not like he's dealing with a lot of all-star players. He's got a lot of mixed bag pieces, a lot of guys who maybe are near the end of their career, Monte Ellis, or maybe guys who are really raw, like Miles Turner, and he's making him look really good this year. He had a great rookie year. The fact that they're just letting these guys go and not letting them either build on what they've already gotten or letting them go thinking that they can find somebody else to elevate the team is ridiculous. You're not going to find another Frank Vogel out there. And the fact that the Pacers brought Nate McMillan up from the assistant spot, I can't imagine him elevating this Indiana team and making them even more powerful in the Eastern Conference. Let Frank Vogel do what he does best. Get to the playoffs and essentially overperform every year. Think about it. All those battles with Miami in the Eastern Conference Finals, Indiana never had the best talent for those teams, for those series. It was always Miami. And yet, they were always this close to beating Miami. And let's go, we don't have to stick with Frank Vogel. Let's look at Dave Yeager, a guy who took 28 players. They broke the NBA record for playing 28 players in one season on your roster. 28 players. You know, you think about, typically they got about 12 players on the roster at one time. So they lost and switched out 16 people. They lost Marc Gasol for the season, Chalmers, Mike Conley. They traded away Courtney Lee. They got Lance Stevenson, who is nothing. Zebo was hurt most of the year. Tony Allen was banged up. And yet somehow Dave Yeager drags this team into the playoffs. They get swept by the Spurs. No big deal. They had nobody. They had nobody who could score. And now you're telling me that we're just going to let him go. Why? Why? Who are they going to get? Maybe Frank Vogel? Okay, maybe that works out for them. But the fact that they let him go after that kind of a season, it tells me, obviously, that they had issues between them and Yeager, but it still frustrates me. Give the guy another year. It doesn't make sense. I don't care if you have issues, work him out. He was obviously doing a good job. He cared about Memphis. You saw him crying all over during the press conference. Try to make it work. Don't just cut him loose. Now, this coaching thing goes even farther than the NBA. I mentioned the NFL as well, because there are several guys who are getting fired when they don't even have a chance. Where do I start? Let's start with Lovie Smith. Lovie Smith comes in at Tampa Bay. Horrible roster. Look at that roster. Terrible. 2 years ago, right? He's got 2 years to turn around the franchise. That is not a amount of time that makes it even possible. Aside from maybe some Belichick witchcraft, 2 years is not enough. And that's all these guys are getting. You look at Lovie Smith, he had nobody. He had the one of the worst rosters in the league. He takes Jameis Winston, number one, and what happens? They play well. They play better than most people thought they would. Go back and look. I think they win 5 or 6 games. Tampa Bay, much better than people expected. Jameis Winston played really well. Lovie Smith had him going in the right direction. And then they just drop him and pick up Dirk Cutter, who is not worth dropping Lovie Smith for. Let's be honest. And let's think about Lovie Smith's track record. At Chicago, they were fantastic for a long time. Took them to the Super Bowl with Rex Grossman. Rex Grossman. Think about that for a second. That's pretty good. Then let's look at some other coaches. You know, you've got Hugh Jackson and Tom Cable when they were in Oakland. No chance. Given no chance. Tom Cable gets Oakland's first 500 record in a decade or whatever. What do? They fire him. Bring in Hugh Jackson. Okay. Hugh Jackson, first season, they go 8-8 again, or 7-9, whatever. A good, decent season considering Oakland's previous woes. What do? Fire him after one season. What? It doesn't make sense. Guys, if you want to see the best franchise, look at the dynasties, the franchises out there in the league right now. Patience. Look at Jacksonville right now. I know I'm a Jacksonville fan, so it's easy for me to say that. Okay, this is a do or die year. They got to get better. They got to win at least 7 or 8 games to keep things rolling. But this is a franchise that has the right idea. They have decided, you know what? We've realized we're not quality right now, so we're going to take time. It's a process. It's always been a process. This will be year 3 for the Gus Bradley regime. This is the year, but they have slowly built pieces. They got Blake Bortles, Allen Robinson, Allen Hurns, TJ Yeldon. They picked up Chris Ivory. The defensive side is completely overhauled. They just drafted Jalen Ramsey, Miles Jack. They picked up Malik Jackson, Prince Amukamara, Tyshawn Gibson. They are slowly building it up because it takes, what's the word? Patience. People, take a second, think. Breathe, relax. I know fans are really iffy, they're really impatient, but we gotta relax. You gotta give them time, because if you can't give them time, look at Cleveland. They have given nobody time to build. They've been panicky. They freak out every year. It's a joke. It's a joke. Jacksonville's been a joke, but you know what? They finally decided we're just gonna take time, relax, and you know what? Now a lot of people say they have a good chance to win the AFC South. So people, when you're rooting for your team and they stink and they got a new coach, take a minute, relax, breathe, and realize it's a process. Whether you like it or not, it takes time. For Wiley Lewis, this is the Fastbreak Kids. Extra point. We'll see you next time.